Hi students, this is Karimunisa Sayyed, Associate Professor in Zoology. Do write your suggestions to zoology.bcu at gmail.com for any improvement. Welcome back to session 30, in which we are going to learn the morphology or the structure of sea star under the type studies of Astreus. Of course, this session comes under the Zoology Paper 2, which includes non-card data Part 2. Again, only when you learn in detail the morphological features of Astreus, you will be able to wonder how wonderful is the creation of nature. Before that, you must have learned definitely the general characters of phylum Echinodermata. What is Astreus? As the name is derived from the Greek word aster, this Astreus is having star shape. It is a star shaped animal, and that is why the genus is also called Astreus, which is included under the class, therefore, Asteroidea. Asteroids can be identified because of pentamerous body with a central disc and short fused arms. The arms are fused with the central disc. And as you know, Asteroidea is included under the subphylum Elythrozoa because of having a free living, predaceous, scavengerous nature, along with having madreporite and pedicellariae in its body. Similarly, Astreus comes under Echinodermata because in the Astreus also we see eucoelomate nature, radial symmetry, spiny skinned animal it is with the water-vascular system. Coming to the habit and habitat of Astreus, Astreus is exclusively marine, just like any other echinoderm, and it is a bottom dwelling or benthonic animal. That means it is found crawling on the rocky bottoms but in the littoral zone, that means near the seashores. Astreus is generally solitary, that means a single animal can be found, but for the purpose of protection, you may see these sea stars living in groups. This type of behavior of the animal is called gregarious behavior, which is different from the colonial behavior, where in the colony the individuals will be highly interdependent, whereas in the gregarious nature of animals where they live in group, it is just to avoid the predators. They are not interdependent, that means they live independently. All the sea stars are carnivorous. They feed on other animals, so thereby they are predaceous. And they also feed on dead bodies, usually which settle in the bottom of the sea. That's why they also act as good scavengers and they help the nature in cleansing the bottoms of the sea. Coming to the size of the animal, they are quite big animals, visible to naked eye, because the size varies from 10 to 20 centimeters in diameter. And with regard to their color, they are very attractive animals. The color varies from shades of yellow, orange, brown, and purple. And as we already know, the Astreus is star shaped. It has a radially symmetrical body, which is also pentamerous. And The body consists of a central pentagonal disc from which radiate five elongated, tapering, and symmetrical arms. In some species of Astreus, sea stars, we have more than five arms. For example, in the Solastrus species, there are 7 to 14 arms, whereas in Heliaster, we have more than 40 arms. But all these arms are radial in position, and the body or the regions of the central disc between the arms are called interradials. All these sea stars, they lack a well-defined head. Head is totally absent, and the body has two distinct surfaces, the upper convex and much darker color body, which is called the arboreal surface or abactinal surface, whereas the lower or ventral surface is flat, which is less pigmented and is called oral or actinal surface. Keep it in mind that the oral and arboreal surfaces of adult are not the ventral and dorsal surfaces, but they correspond to the left and right sides of the bilaterally symmetrical larva. So you can see here in the picture how the oral surface will have mouth at the center, whereas the arboreal surface can be identified because of the presence of anus and madreporite. Now let us proceed further into the details of oral surface. So the side of the body which in natural condition remains towards the substratum and which contains the mouth uh, or the oral opening is usually flat and usually orange or purple in color. So this surface is called oral or actinal surface, which shows mouth, ambulacral grooves, tube feet or podia, ambulacral spines, and sense organs. Mouth, it is located in the center of pentagonal central disc. It is an aperture which is also called actinosome. It also has 5 angles, and from each angle there will be radiating ambulacral grooves. So each angle will be directed towards an arm. The mouth is surrounded by peristomial membrane, and the mouth is also guarded by 5 groups of oral spines or the mouth papillae. You can see here. Apart from that, from the each angle of mouth radiate a narrow groove called the ambulacral groove, which runs all along the middle of oral surface of each arm. Then comes the tube feet. Each ambulacral groove contains 4 rows of locomotory, food capturing, respiratory, and sensory organs called tube feet or podia. The tube feet are soft, thin-walled, tubular, and retractile structures provided with terminal disc or suckers. These suckers function as suction cups for a firm attachment on the substratum. The ambulacral spines are located on either side of ambulacral groove. So each ambulacral groove is bordered and guarded laterally by 2 to 3 rows of immobile calcareous ambulacral spines. Outside the ambulacral spines, there will be 3 rows of stout immobile spines, beyond which occur another series of marginal spines along the border of the arms, demarcating the oral surface from the aboral surface. At the tip of each arm, there will be a small, that means single, unpaired, retractile and hollow projection called terminal tentacle. Of course, it is not visible here. It acts as a tactile and olfactory organ, at the base of which there will be a bright red photosensitive eye spot which is made up of several ocelli. So these are the simple sense organs present in the astreus. So I am sure now you are able to identify the oral surface of astreus because of the presence of mouth, ambulacral grooves, marginal spines, and 2 feet. Now let us learn the aboral surface of astreus. The side of the body which remains towards the upper surface, that means the surface is away from the bottom of the sea, is convex, and usually it is also brightly colored, like it may be of orange color or purple in color. This aboral surface is also called abactinal surface. The aboral surface shows following structures like anus, madreporite, spines, papillae or gills, and pedicellariae. Let us learn one by one. First and foremost, on the aboral surface, we see the anus. Anus is a minute circular aperture. It is situated close to the center of the central disc on the aboral surface. Apart from that, we see madreporite on the aboral surface. So at the aboral surface of the central disc also occurs a flat, subcircular or asymmetrical and a groove-like or a grooved sieve-like porous plate called madreporite between the bases of 2 of the 5 arms, referred as bivium. So at the base of 2 of the arms, there will be a sieve-like plate that is referred as madreporite, and because of which these 2 arms are called bivium, and the madreporite is interradial in position. The other 3 arms which are away from the madreporite, they form trivium. Similarly, on the arboreal surface, the madreporite is marked by number of radiating, narrow, straight or slightly wavy grooves with number of pores. That's why we call it as a sieve-like plate. These pores lead into a stone canal of water-vascular system. Usually, with regard to the number of madreporite, each individual will have only one madreporite, but in some species of animals, due to the increased number of arms, you may find more than one madreporite. And here, I like to mention that the position of madreporite thus converts the radial symmetry of Astreus into bilateral symmetry, because only in one plane with regard to the position of madreporite will be able to get two equal halves of the animal. Then moving further, on the arboreal surface, we also see number of protuberances, hard calcareous spines. So the entire arboreal surface is covered with numerous short, stout, blunt, calcareous spines or tubercles. The spines are of variable size and are arranged in irregular rows, of course, but they run parallel all along the axis of the arms. And the spines are of variable size, as you see here. Some of them are big, some of them are small, and they are arranged in irregular rows running parallel to the long axis of the arm. These spines are supported by the irregularly shaped calcareous plates or the ossicles, which remain buried in the integument. This is a dried specimen. So thereby you are able to see the test, which is made up of ossicles. So these ossicles, they form endoskeleton called test by attaching to each other. They are fitted to each other. Number of ossicles, they join together to form hard endoskeleton called the test. Moving further, on the arboreal surface, we also see number of papillae or gills. So between the ossicles of integument on the arboreal surface, there are number of minute dermal pores. Through each dermal pore, what you see here, the black dot-like structure is nothing but the dermal pores. Through each dermal pore projects very small, delicate, tubular or conical, finger-like or thread-like, thin-walled or membranous and retractile. It can be retracted back into the body of the animal. Projection called dermal brachiae or gills or papillae. These red color structures, what you see here, small membranous structures, they are very small finger-like projections which are called papillae. So when compared to the spines, their size is very, very small and they are very delicate also. So these papillae are hollow evaginations of body wall, and their lumen therefore remains in continuation with the coelom. Therefore, they have respiratory and excretory function. Moving further, on the arboreal surface, we also see forceps-like structures called the pedicellariae. So besides spines, gills, the entire arboreal surface is covered by many whitish modified spines with tiny pincers or jaws called pedicellariae. The oral surface also bears pedicellariae. Each pedicellariae consists of a long or short, stout, flexible stalk. Therefore, the pedicellariae having three calcareous pieces and a stalk are called forcipulate pedunculate pedicellariae. So these pedicellariae, apart from stalk, they also have three calcareous ossicles or plates, a basilar piece or plate at the extremity of the stalk, that means at the tip of the stalk, and the two jaws are walls which remain movable. They are articulated with the basilar piece, and they have these two jaws, they have teeth. That's why they are called serrated, and they lie opposite to one another. So they have opposed edges. Astreus particularly possesses two types of forcipulate pedunculate pedicellariae, namely straight type and crossed type. Straight type of pedunculate pedicellariae are very simple. They have two jaws, more or less they are straight and attached basally to a basal piece. When closed, the jaws remain parallel to each other, and the two jaws work against one another like the two blades of a forceps. There are two pairs of adductor muscles for closing the jaws and a pair of abductor muscles for opening them. Similarly, Astreus also has few crossed type pedunculate pedicellariae. The basal ends of the two jaws, they cross each other like the mandibles of a crossbill or a scissors, so that the basal piece is enclosed between their cross portions. The jaws are also operated by two pairs of abductor muscles and a pair of two pairs of adductor muscles and one pair of abductor muscles. Certain other pedicellariae without stalk called sessile pedicellariae are also found on the body of Astreus. So coming to the function of these pedicellariae, they serve as defensive and offensive organs, and they also provide protection to the gills or the dermal papillae. And the general body, they also keep the general body surface clean and free from the debris and the organisms like sponges and coelenterate settling on the body. So you can see in this picture, which is highly enlarged picture of pedicellariae of Acanthoaster plantia. So at the end of the session, I am sure now that you are able to identify the arboreal surface of Astreus from the oral surface. Taking mistake.